The new leaks on global surveillance practices claim that British intelligence agency GCHQ has been intercepting and collecting webcam images from millions of online users. RT's Sarah Firth has the details for us now from London.
This was the British intelligence agency GCHQ with the help of NSA's programme codenamed Optic Nerve, and this was essentially collecting still Yahoo webcam chat images from 1.8 million Yahoo accounts to be exact, and then storing them on databases. Now, the images were an experiment in what they call automated facial recognition, and it was used to monitor not just GCHQ's existing targets, but also to discover new targets. But it seems they were getting a little bit more than perhaps they'd bargained for, because, as they quite coyly put it, it seems that a lot of people don't use the webcam chats just for conversation, and so it seemed they had quite a large number of images of a sexually explicit nature. In fact, the documents revealed between 3 to 11% of the data they were receiving was of undesirable nudity, as they call it. Now, Yahoo have responded furiously to this, saying that they had no knowledge or involvement in this, and if the report proves true, that it represents a whole new level of violation. That's certainly something that's being echoed in public sentiment in response to these latest revelations, was one social media user so eloquently put it: CCTV on the streets, GCHQ in your sheets.
Well, let's get more perspective on this from an investigative journalist, Tony Gosling. He joins me live now from the UK in Bristol. Tony, clearly they got more than they bargained for all those revealing images, but surely the purpose of spying is intelligence gathering, and that's essentially what they're doing for counter-terrorism purposes. So why this backlash over this?
Well, this has got nothing to do with counter-terrorism, has it? Because this is just yet another great data trawl, and there's all sorts of reasons why that is illegal. Apparently, this sort of thing has to be sanctioned by the Foreign Secretary or Home Secretary at the highest levels. In the US, it has to be sanctioned through these secret FISA courts. But there are very good reasons why the people who've committed this actually should be or are criminals. I'm talking about those that have authorised it at government level and in GCHQ, and the individual operators who are collecting this data. I mean, out of all of the things we've heard, I think you'll agree, Bill, we've heard about spyware being put on, viruses being put on our computers being stopped on the way to our homes to have spyware, this kind of thing put on it. We've also had denial of service attacks, that is taking out websites of campaign groups and that sort of thing by GCHQ and by the NSA. But this is actually the most creepy so far.
Anything,
Getting
Tony?
into these webcams it's like an intruder in your living room, and it's
Sure.
not just happening to people who are counter-terrorism. This is everybody they're after here. 2 million users.
But why Yahoo, Tony? Is there anything to suggest that Yahoo collaborated in any way?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Why Yahoo? Is there any suggestion that Yahoo collaborated in any way? Because it was Yahoo webcams.
Well, no, Yahoo have come out, haven't they, and said that they are extremely annoyed about this. I mean, The Guardian reports that they are fevered in their denial of this kind of thing, because, of course, this is massively damaging to Yahoo and the privacy and the trust between Yahoo's users and the organisation. And I would think what we'll find, I mean, they've already been fighting in some ways, these internet companies, the NSA and GCHQ in the courts, but this will make things, you know, even more important for Yahoo to be able to defend their reputation by stopping this kind of thing going on. But a lot of people are saying, why does it matter? Surely, you know, if you've done nothing wrong, you should have nothing to hide. But I'll tell you why it matters. And it's because these people should be going to get a warrant. There are laws in place to stop these mass data trawls. And why does it matter? This is why it matters. There's a book by Edwin Black here, which recounts the way that the Nazis used these massive databases, helped with the help of IBM back in the 1930s, to get the names and addresses of trade unionists, gays and Jews. And this is how Hitler got his addresses of innocent people to then go up and arrest. So it's about time that we learnt our history and made sure that these laws to stop these mass data trawls are enforced, Bill.
And just also, you say, well, if I've got nothing to hide, but clearly a lot of people were exposing some very personal images of themselves. If Edward Snowden can leak highly secure information, then how easily could these very personal images get into the wrong hands? How safe is all this information?
Well, I think generally most of the organisations like Yahoo do put a lot of effort into making sure that that data is secure as it travels across the internet. Unfortunately, what's happening is there are people who are trying to make money out of this data scare. For example, Boeing have just introduced their black phones, I don't know if you've noticed, which do encrypt the data on the phone itself, but it doesn't stop someone like GCHQ or the NSA intercepting that data on its way through the telecommunications network. And so really what's happened is that the criminals are way ahead of the legislation, both in Britain and in the United States, and there's no proper oversight. You know, Malcolm Rifkind, who's supposed to oversee things here in Britain, he's actually in the pay of defence companies himself. So he's the wrong person to be overseeing it. As one of the former bosses of government communications headquarters here in Britain said several months ago, he's the wrong man for the job. If we're serious about doing something about our data, we've got to replace him, number one.
OK, Tony, thank you very much indeed. Journalist Tony Gosling, live from Bristol.